Okay, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Hope everybody had a decent 4th of July. And I'm recording this on Saturday morning. So let me just say, I hope your entire 4th of July weekend is restful, yet eventful, fun, and safe. Now, Divorce Sisters, I can't hold you. Episode 5 really didn't do it for me. I mean, it was alright, but I don't really think I had anything that wowed me until we got to the very end. I mean, you could low key say Latoya's acting is what saved this episode. Let me put it this way: this wouldn't be an episode that I would point people to in order to dissuade them in terms of hey, the show isn't that slow and it isn't boring, because this was the first episode I'm like, meh. But I'm giving it like a 6 out of 10. Like I said, the ending of the episode saved it for me. And let me know how you feel in the comments below. I don't really believe that this particular episode had as many talking points as the last one, like, oh, Naomi was wrong, or oh man, Geneva's doing too much, which she low key was in this episode. But that's what this episode felt like. It felt really low key. And I know, yes, last week the episode was, the bar was high considering the coffee and whatnot, but I don't know. But with that being said, let's get to it. This is Divorce Sisters season 1 episode 5, entitled Breath of Fresh Air. Like I said, 6 out of 10. Those 43 minutes, they were dragging. But before we get into the review, I'd really appreciate it if you went ahead and hit the thumbs up button to show you liked the video. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit subscribe. It really does help. And hit that notification bell. I know I probably just said it a few seconds ago. Well, then again, I did record 3 videos before this. But either way, make sure you're up to date, because remember, July 16th, Sistas comes back. And I don't want you to miss it whenever I post content about the show. Now, it is 6 a.m. in the morning, and Javon, Tiffany, and Geneva have been at the police station all night, and no luck with either seeing Naomi or getting her out. So Javon takes a moment to go talk to somebody to see if there's anything he can do. And while he steps away, Tiff asks Geneva about, like, what's Javon's deal? Like, how long have you known him? You never told me about him. And Geneva acts like, oh, I only know him from, like, the courtroom, and that's pretty much it. So I guess this is implying that Javon is also an attorney. I could be wrong, but that was just my assumption based off their brief conversation here. But you could just tell how annoyed she's getting by the fact that Tiff is clearly enamored with him after only one night of just getting to know each other. I mean, it's just one of those crazy things where if these two did end up together in the long run, imagine them talking about how they met and the craziness that happened on the night that they met. I mean, who would ever say, like, their first, pseudo date, if you will, was spending the night at a jail trying to get the girl's best friend out? I mean, funny story. But in concept, Geneva just says, hey, if you want to know anything about Javon, just ask him yourself. Like, he just got a divorce and everything, so it's not like I knew too much about him beforehand. And hey, just be careful, because about getting back into dating, because I was the one that told you to do it, so don't dive in head first. So from there, Bridget actually calls the girls, and she's getting ready to go to work. It turns out things are just, to be honest, the situation isn't as bad, but then again, it is the next morning, because she was telling them, like, look, y'all, this is bad, because Rashida, I've been calling her. She ain't been answering the phone. And that video of the coffee incident is like at 17,000 views and counting. And the church is trying to do PR. And they agree to all meet at Naomi's house later on if they're able to get her out. And lo and behold, not even a few seconds later, Naomi is being released thanks to Javon. And from there, Bridget gets off the phone, and she's about to, get her shoes and her purse or whatever to get ready to go. And Vaughn is faking being asleep until she tells him to wake up. and he's going to go at her about being so loud. It's like, well, I'm getting ready to go to work. Well, you got on the phone talking all loud and this, that, and the third. This man child is crazy. Speaking of man child, it's ironic because isn't there a new song out, Sabrina Carpenter, called Man Child? Yeah, that's pretty much what Javon is. I mean, again, Tyler, you couldn't have come up with different names. Vaughn. I feel like, look, don't get at me in the comments, but it might be a running occurrence in every episode. I'm accidentally going to call Javon Vaughn or Vaughn Javon at least one time and then stop the review to address it. But can you just imagine that? You got this grown man, well, the body of a grown man with the mental and emotional capabilities of a child. Then again, there are children out there with a stronger work ethic than this dude. Just like, you know how it is when you tell a young person, you know, whether it be your child, niece, nephew, little sibling, whatever, hey, you need to sweep the floor in the kitchen. No. Well, hey, if you wanted that video game, I'll say you need to get up and do chores. They might grunt and groan, but they'll rush up and get it done. This kid, you know what? This kid, he goes so far as to retort when Bridget's like, you need to, basically, she pulled a Pops from Friday. You need to get out of bed, take a shower, put on some clothes, get out in the real world, and find you a job. The word of the day is job. And he gave such a, correct me if I'm wrong on what generation it is, but isn't it Generation Z, the one they always talk about, like mental health and whatnot? And I'm not down in mental health, but the fact that, Vaughn, how can you say you've been trying when you quit a job just because you don't like it or it doesn't work out? Well, you know, it's bad for my mental health. Like, the audacity of this bum who doesn't pay for anything, who doesn't do anything, and got the nerve to talk about mental. I mean, I get it when a man or woman dates younger, but this is just like, this guy, well, he's supposed to be, if I remember correctly, he's supposed to be 30 in like a few months. Wow. I just can't with this. Messing with my mental health. I'm a creative. And like Bridget said, until that takes off, you need to go out there and do something you don't want to do. And it's funny because I was actually having a conversation with somebody not too long ago. I want to say about 4 or 5 days ago, basically earlier this week, about, you know, content creation and whatnot. I'm like, look, my best advice, you know, because I think it was a friend of mine whose child, well, yeah, their child is about to graduate high school in this upcoming school year. And it's the conversation of like, what does she want to do? Does she want to go into college? Does she just want to go into the working world? And my best advice is like, look, go to a regular job. And when I say regular, I just mean like, you know, hey, factory, restaurant, whatever the case may be. Get a taste of that real world working environment. Because when it comes to content creation, like, you know, Vaughn apparently wants to do, yeah, you know how much people be making on the gram and TikTok and stuff like that? It's a grind. If you don't have the work ethic to sweep up a restaurant floor or take phone calls at a call center and whatnot, you're not going to make it in content creation. There's a lot of repetitiveness. Everything is on you. If you can't handle the pressure of bosses and supervisors breathing down your neck, there's no way you're going to make it, because people need to realize you got to put in the work to get monetized. It isn't just something that happens overnight. Sure, some people it does, but even when you get monetized, you got to be consistent. You got to come up with concepts. That's basically what Vaughn doesn't want to do. Now, if he was good at video games, he could be a streamer. But then again, you got to get a job in order to, you know, hold yourself down financially until your quote unquote creative outlet becomes monetizable. So yeah, it's just one of those situations where if he can't handle the pressure of a regular job for more than like 48 hours, yeah, he's just going to be a bum for the rest of his life. So from there, Calvin comes over, and apparently something about a key. He says that, you know, I tried to get into work, but I don't have the key, and that boy got the key. And it's like, Bridget goes upstairs and asks Vaughn if he has some key, and he says, no, I ain't got no key. And then it's like, look, let me go out there and talk to him. Fine, by all means. So he storms upstairs behind Bridget, of course, and confronts him. He's like, man, what the hell are you doing? No, I ain't got no dang key. So from there, they get into it because Calvin roughs him up a bit, and Vaughn takes it to him. And then they get into a scuffle. Bridget tries to break it up. She gets knocked down. And then Vaughn, goes into Hulk mode and starts wailing on him. And then he just, what? It looks like he's about to get like a platter, like a metal platter, and like slam it on his head. But then Bridget gets in between. It's like, no, you defend him. You know what? Forget you two. And he just gets up and storms out. And then that's when Calvin is like, you know what? Forget this. Like, I could have beat his behind. And the craziest part is, like, you gonna do this up in my house? In my house? And then Calvin rightfully says, how can you call it your house? You're not paying any bills. You don't have any job. Like, who are you to say this is your house? So he, yells at Bridget and then gets the heck out. Bridget and then gets the heck out of there. But interestingly enough, when they were downstairs prior to him going up there about the key, he says, like, you don't need this boy, you need a man. So is that implying that Calvin has a thing for Bridget? That's kind of where it seems like they're going. But to be honest, if you go back a few episodes when Calvin called Bridget about Vaughn quitting on him, it seems like this isn't the first time he's alluded to the fact that, Bridget, you need to get a real man, wink, wink, him. But she always brushes all like, look, I don't need you telling me what I need to do. But if this episode was anything, I feel like it was an eye opener for Bridget, hence the title, Breath of Fresh Air. But after that, like I said, Calvin leaves. So we go over to Rashida and Jeff's house, and their son goes into the bedroom and, asks his dad for some money. And it's like 7 something in the morning. And, typical, adults, like, hey, you come in here and you ask for money, but where's the good morning, father? Where's that at? And he's like, what do you need money for? You get an allowance. Oh, I need a laptop. My other one broke. Well, son, I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to give you money before 8 a.m. in the morning. Like, what's going on? And where's your mother? I don't know. She's your wife. Oh, it's like that? Well, how about this? When you find your mom, you ask her for some money. So after his son leaves the room, he gets a call from his right-hand man from the church and asking, about how his arm is feeling after the burn. And Jeff's like, oh, yeah, it's okay. But I want to go to the gym and we'll talk when I get in the car. So after that, Javon drops the ladies off at Naomi's. I believe he is driving Geneva's ride, if I remember correctly, because Geneva actually gets into the car and drives it off later. But he walks the ladies to the door, and, as he's talking with Tiffany, Geneva doesn't even go inside the house after Naomi. She's at the door just glaring over there. Like I said, Kadeem, if looks could kill, the way she's just looking over there. Because there's a moment where, as they're talking, because Tiffany is looking at Javon and the back of her head is towards Geneva, so she can't see how her friend is reacting. There's a moment where Javon is like chuckling and then looks over at Geneva, showing that, oh yeah, I'm going to put on a show for your ass. And he asks Tiffany out, and it turns out like they're going to go out for dinner tonight. So they exchange phone numbers, and while she's like, hey, do you want to wait inside with us? And Geneva's like, oh, no, that's not a good idea. Now, at first, I'm like, man, she hating. But then as we see when Tiffany goes inside, the place was raided by the police. So, yeah, maybe it wasn't a good idea for her to go up in there. But he waits outside for his car. And after that, Bridget actually comes in and they just check on their girl. And what's the first thing Naomi wants to do? Drink. Because you know what? They ruined my dress. They came in here and tore everything up. They took my safe. It's gone. And they have a discussion about what went down last night. And it's like, y'all hate me after what I did. It's like, no, we don't hate you. We don't hate you. What the pastor does is like, well, I mean, you did kind of basically referencing when Naomi, while at the table, went in on like, what kind of pastor talking about a fundraiser? You have like, what, a $300,000 car. And, the pastor hates you and whatnot. It's like, well, you got to think about it this way. And I think they were alluding to what Naomi said way back in the day that almost caused Jeff and Rashida to not get married. That seemed to be the thing that they were alluding to. But they mentioned the Franklin situation. And it turns out Franklin told Naomi that, oh, you ain't got to worry about her. She's nothing but a friend. Dang. Naomi, I thought you'd be a bit smarter than that. And she kind of goes off like when Bridget tries to like give some just helpful, positive feedback, that's when Naomi's like, and what are you never been married, you with that man child and everything, like, how are you going to tell me something? And then she's like, and I ain't gonna lie, Bridget did the right thing. She got her purse and she was about to get up to leave, but then Tiffany and Geneva stopped her and it's like, no, 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 you're not going to do that. We're over here to check on you. You're not going to lash out at us. And I like the fact that Naomi did apologize, and the fact that the girls checked her in that moment. I mean, it did give me Danny vibes of like Sistas. Well, basically, whenever the girl, well, let's be real. Whenever it's Sabrina and Andy coddling Karen, or Sabrina and Karen coddling Andy, and it's like, don't sugarcoat it. I want to tell you the truth. Like, Andy, you effed up, or Karen, you need to move on. And they're like, no, 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 don't do that. Nah, this felt right in the sense of, hey, Naomi, you took it too far. We're just trying to be here for you. Don't lash out at us. And I liked how they squashed it. But even better is when Tiffany opted to, tell Geneva, like, hey, you don't sugarcoat it either. Naomi, it's okay. Just calm down. We're going to help you. He's like, no, no, no. Give her the real talk. And then that's when Geneva goes into lawyer mode, because this fool sitting up here like, you know what? After everything that happened last night, I want to sue Franklin. Yeah, I want to sue him and that girl. But they're like, no, don't do that. Because you don't realize how bad the coffee situation was. You went way too far. That video is getting a lot of traction online. Well, did it get my side of it? In regards to when Franklin got up on the stage. Now, if I remember correctly, in the last episode, they said that video was getting traction, and people were like, yeah, get her, because, the video did show when Franklin went up on stage and made an ass out of himself. But regardless, in the court of law, and like I said, this was some real talk. She told her, like, you know what? It's not going to look good. There is no sides to this. You were the one that took that coffee and burnt that girl's back. And I just love that. This is the kind of talk, in terms of, I loved it how Bridget and Tiffany didn't kind of pull Geneva back. They told her, you need to tell Naomi what it was. This is the kind of moment, low key, it almost makes me want to boost the score from a 6 to like at least an 8, just because this was real shit. Not like Sisters where they kind of dance around the situation. No, we are going to tell you how badly you effed up, Naomi. And yeah, Andy tried to do that with Danny in regards to the whole hitting the Jonah with her car and whatnot. But, she just played it off and got out of the office while Andy was talking to her. But no, they made sure Naomi realized how bad the situation got. And plus, it's like 7 something in the morning. And they got to go all about their day and go to work. So they was like, hey, you just stay here and, hey, chill. Don't do anything. But of course, that is not how Naomi rolls. So not long after the ladies leave, Tiffany gets excited because she gets a text from Javon about tonight. And Geneva tells Bridget to give Tiffany a ride because I got to go home and get ready for work. But hey, Geneva, you passed right by my place. You can't give me a ride? Oh, actually, I got a couple of phone calls I need to make, so I need to be alone. Oh, okay. And you could just tell she's jealous. So it's just a passive aggressiveness that I feel like is going to ruin their friendship, which I think is awful. So from there, we go over to, actually back inside of Naomi's home. She calls, I forgot the dude's name from episode 1, the I guess escort or whatever that she called, but basically calls him and says that I need you here in 20 minutes because you said you can get things done for me, right? Well, come over here. And he's literally in bed with another woman. It's like, look, hey, I come on my own time. Look, you want this money, right? You better come over here. And then when he does show up, it's quote unquote late, but he made sure to let her know, like, look, I usually don't get out here moving until like 3 p.m. or whatever. You're calling me before breakfast is over at Hardee's. So Naomi essentially asked him to off the person who did this because, like, hey, what happened to your place? I got robbed. It was my ex that did this. He could just make things happen. Can you take care of him? I mean, yeah, it's easy to like get somebody off the face of the planet. I got to make some calls and whatnot. But when do we start? Take off your clothes. What? Come up to the bedroom and do what you do. So Naomi is essentially going to try to off her ex-husband. So yikes, yikes, yikes. Now, after that, and wait, this is going to be pretty dumb because think about it this way. That video is getting traction online. And given that her ex-husband did what he did on stage, it stands to reason that if something happens to him, the authorities and whoever else will probably be quick to point the finger at Naomi. Oh boy, this is not going to end up well. So William actually texts Geneva saying that, hey babe, everything okay? Making, things ready around here to get a little girl to school. And Geneva's like, yeah, Naomi's out. I'm on my way. So, William actually gets on a phone call with Javon because he's out getting a jog in, and they talk a little bit, and he mentions how he likes Tiffany and there's a date tonight. And he goes so far as to ask William, hey man, I just got this divorce and I'm new to the dating world after the first time in a while. So do you think we could do a double date? And I'm just like, bro, that's effed up. I mean, you get this first date with Tiffany and now you want to make it a double date with the woman you had an affair with. But thankfully, William's like, no. This is y'all's night. First of all, when you think about it, they kind of had a pseudo group date last night and you saw how that turned out. So go ahead and do your thing. And from there, he does say that, plus something's off about Geneva. It's like, I don't know what's wrong. It's like there's something bothering her. And so we can't go. But you know what? Go ahead, do your thing. And maybe we can have something like that in the future. And here's another thing. How about you come to church with us on Sunday? And I love how Javon's like, is Naomi going to be there? Nah, man, she ain't a member. that was pretty funny. So he goes about finishing his run. And William goes upstairs to, Nika is so adorable. And, hey, kiddo, how you doing? You were snoring last night. But hey, guess what? It's going to be a fun day because I'm going to take you to school. And I'm thinking to myself, so is William excited to make his daughter happy by taking her to school? Or is he just happy to kind of see his yoga pants wearing pretty lady? But either way, Sarah comes in to get the little girl ready for school. And he goes downstairs to make breakfast. So from there, we go over to Tiffany and Bridget. Bridget is dropping off Tiffany at the house. And they talk about the situations they're going in, like, going through. Like, for example, Tiffany is enamored by Javon. And Bridget is finally realizing that Vaughn ain't the one. Whoop-de-doo. I love how Tiffany's like, oh, really? Because they probably told her ass a long time ago, but she just ain't use her common sense. But from there, Tiffany does mention something interesting when Bridget mentions the fight that went on at her house. And that's the fact that Calvin held back. Wait, what are you talking about? Calvin is a professional boxer. If he didn't hurt Vaughn, that's because he held back on purpose. And Bridget was like, oh, so it's almost like, yeah, Calvin could have whooped your boy's ass if he wanted to, but he didn't. So that says a lot. Now, Geneva does get home and William says, hey, I made you some breakfast. Like, no, I'm not really hungry. Plus, I got you ready for work. Well, hey, you know what? Whatever you do today, make sure you get some rest because it's been a long day for you. Oh yeah, that's right. Geneva might not go into work because she was at the police station all night. And I think didn't Tiffany said she had a facial or something? Yeah. But in any case, William gets ready to take their daughter to school. So after that, Geneva is parked outside of the school from a distance, and she's gets a call from Javon. And while he's trying to like get under her skin about the whole Tiffany situation, Geneva is kind of brushing him off like, oh, you know what? I don't care. Do whatever you want with Tiffany. I told you I'm not doing anything with you. Hey, if you don't want me to go on a date with her, tell me. I'm not going to tell you that. Well, you know what we talked about, and you acting like you forgot about it. All the while, Geneva is staring down William interacting with that PYT, going so far as to hand her like a flower. And then they're laughing and kikiing and he hugs her. And then she hangs up the phone and she's like, this. And all I can think about is, you have the audacity to assume, I ain't gonna hold you, it don't look good for William. However, I'm willing to bet things are not what Geneva believes them to be. Because Rashida did say, are you sure you think William is doing something? Or are you trying to catch him in the middle of something because you're full of guilt for what you did 5 or 6 years ago with Javon. And I'm just thinking to myself, it's possible. And look, this is just me giving William the benefit of the doubt, because it would be nice to have one dude in the show who isn't a complete asshole. But who's to say that this pretty lady at the school is someone who Javon is low-key working with in order to put together some sort of surprise for Geneva? Because of the fact that, I don't know, they're talking about this trip to Italy and whatnot, and this woman allegedly owns, or at least attends, a yoga studio according to the school custodian. So who's to say that, and I'm not trying to say that William is trying to say his wife needs to get in shape or whatever, but maybe given that yoga is supposed to be soothing and whatnot, perhaps William recognizes, like, man, Geneva's just been working so much and whatnot ever since she's made partner. So maybe something like a yoga situation could be a good way for her to relieve stress and whatnot, because she's been a bit off. So, hey, it turns out one of Nika's little friends at school has a parent who works at a yoga facility. So maybe, we can have some conversations and I could set something up for her. And then I feel like that's what's going to happen, where Geneva is going to assume, like, I caught your ass in a lie. But it's like, babe, it's not what you think. That's what I think. That's what I think. Now, to round out the episode, Kelly is Jeff and Rashida's daughter, and she confronts her dad about where's mom. It's like, she didn't sleep in the house last night, did she? What are you talking about? Of course she did. She left her side of the bed empty, messed up. But she wasn't in the guest room or anything, and you just said she left her side of the bed messed up. But how would she do that if she was in the guest room and you're saying it like she was sleeping in your room? And her kids are old enough to know, their kids are old enough to know that obviously, y'all, everything ain't, sunshine and rainbows and happy-go-lucky in, the house of Pastor Jeff. And she even goes so far as say, like, are you getting a divorce? It's like, no, we're not. Look, if you do, I want to stay with you. And that says a lot about her mom, or at least her relationship with her mom. And Jeff is like, look, there's nothing going on. Okay, calm down. Everything's fine. And after, his daughter, walks off, there's a look of concern on Jeff's face, like, wait, what? And as the kids, I hate to call them kids because they're basically young adults about to, graduate high school soon. But either way, they're going outside to the bus stop, and then they notice their mom in the car. And this boy, Mom, can I have some money? I'm like, literally, you don't see that she's been outside all night, and the first thing you want to say is, can I have some money? Sheesh. But Kelly is the one with some sense, like, Mom, you're wearing the same thing last night. It's like, again, these two are smarter than the parents are trying to let on, in terms of, oh no, I was just, Mom, that's what you wore to the fundraiser. Like, get on the bus. Like, can I have some money? Look, not now. Go. The bus is coming. So they leave and get on the bus, and man. And that's when Jeff is going outside because he's about to leave to go to if I remember correctly, what did he say? Going to the gym, then he's going to go to work. And then he notices Rashida in the car and rushes over. And this was a good scene, because when I first started, I'm like, I know this woman did not just stay outside all night. But then that's when I had to stop. Whoa. Reevaluate the situation, Jeremy. Think about it. Her not leaving the car, it was more than him not opening the door. It's just that she allowed herself to sit in that car all night because she thought about everything that went wrong. It's kind of like those, some people talk about how, whenever a couple gets it, like when one person in a relationship starts an argument because the other person didn't put the cap back on the toothpaste, the argument is more about some toothpaste. It's like a lot of built up resentment and pain, and it comes out at once. And that's why it made sense to me, because just like, aren't you overreacting? And it's like, it's not about the car door, because he's like, hey, babe, look, I'm going around the car. And then he opens the door and she gets out and just puts on one heck of a performance, which was the highlight for the trailer for this show in the first place. It's like, you don't care about me. You don't love me. No, babe. See, you looking around trying to get me to be quiet because you care more about what other people think than what's actually going on. And then his phone goes off. And this dummy decides to pull out his phone in the midst of his wife having a breakdown. You know what? I don't care. Look, she snatches the phone and answers it. Hey, babe, you in the car yet? Can we talk? And then Rashida's face, because it's what's his face from the church? Is it Myron, right? I forgot. Myron. But that's how the episode ends. And man, oh man. So hey, overall the episode was meh, but that ending was some powerful stuff. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about episode 5. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.